Hello, everyone. It is May 25, 2022, and you're watching the Awesome10X Philippine Market Update. Today, we're going to be discussing the RASLAG IPO, so let's begin. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here, the RASLAG IPO. An IPO is coming out within this week, and you are still available to register and sign up until May 27. You could see in the newspapers about this IPO. I'll share to you a few headlines. Three IPOs lined up next month, i.e., this month. We're going to be discussing the RASLAG Corp. RASLAG is a pioneer in the country's grid-scale solar energy development. Already, it has RASLAG 1 and 2. They're two operating power plants, the maiden RASLAG 1 and the RASLAG 2, which is 10 and 13 megawatts. Both plants were already included in the government's feed-in tariff system, FIT, guaranteeing a fixed price for renewable energy players in the country for 20 years. Now, RASLAG also has 9 pesos 68 cents per kilowatt hour base tariff, while RASLAG 2 has an 8 pesos 69 per kilowatt base tariff, essentially guaranteeing payment from the government with adjustments for inflation and forex exchange. Let's begin and discuss this RASLAG IPO, which is setting to about 700 million pesos or potentially 800 million if the option shares are also sold at their maximum price of 2 pesos per share. This solar power company is going to have 350 million times 2, which is why it's 700 million, but it has an over allotment of option shares of 52.5 million that would be sold by the majority shareholder J10 Equities if necessary. This is an IPO scheduled on May 23 to May 27 until this week and offered by China Bank. So we are hopeful that the list of companies in the renewable energies are being listed in the PSE, and providing these firms capital formation is going to help address the climate change, as an exchange said by our CEO and president of PSE, which is Ramon S. Monzon. RASLAG today is an renewable energy developer founded by engineer Peter Nepomuceno of the Nepomuceno family in Angeles City, Pampanga, and Conrado D. Pecjo, I'm sorry if I may have said the name wrong. Pecjo, the biggest development manager of Angeles Power. All right, let's explore this IPO. I have been reading the prospectus, guys, and let me show to you the ones that stand out from the IPO. Okay, let's look at the slides. Okay, all of these are coming from the prospectus, which you could read yourself. Now, this company, RASLAG, apparently RASLAG means renewable light. It is a Kapampangan, aslag means light. So it's renewable light. They're saying it's renewable electricity, i.e. solar. So that's the name of the IPO, RASLAG. So within the next 5 years, they already have two operational plants. As I said, this one, the 10 megawatt and the 13 megawatt, and this already has the feed-in tariff. So in terms of 1 and 2, those have been already generating electricity sales and revenue. So we can already see the financials on those 1 and 2. Now, RASLAG 3 is 100% financed and is under construction, opening as of May 2022. So this has already been started and funded 70% by BPI, the bank, and 30% funded operationally by IPO proceeds will go into the RASLAG 4 and 5, which is in Pampanga. So you could see that it's an operational 35 megawatt that is going to be bigger, and 60 megawatt that would be bigger. Land payment as of December, they've already paid 78 million pesos, and 22 lots were purchased since May 2018, fully paid already for RASLAG 5. Now that is spanning 2 million hectares of land, including lowlands, a portion of the Sierra Madre Mountain. The Central Luzon is known for their farmlands, producing 1/3 of the Philippines' total rice production. 1.2 million hectares in Central Luzon are alienable and disposable lands, wherein 41% or 494,000 hectares are rice lands. Rice lands are typically in the form of agricultural plains, and these are often deemed for utility scale solar facilities given their low construction costs for clearing up land and installation of solar panels. Solar farms are also requiring regular washing of solar panels and cutting of grass, making these flatlands the ideal terrain for an easier maintenance of solar PV facilities. As evidenced by the 60% jump or 180 megawatt increase in solar PVs in Central Luzon within just a year, agricultural lands are now being converted into solar farms at an increasing pace, given that solar farms now require just 1 hectare of land per 1 megawatt capacity. So in terms of harnessing solar energy, Department of Energy has identified 4 competitive renewable zones in the Philippines, primarily in central Luzon, with irradiance from these areas ranging from 5 to 5.6 kilowatt hours per square meter per day, higher for other solar energy development in the country, where solar irradiance is 4.5 to 5 kilowatt per hour per square meter per day. So what we are seeing here, guys, is let's talk a lot first about the strengths of RASLAG IPO. As we know, there is a strong, attractive fit rate, which is guaranteeing that all the demand of that 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt, 50 megawatt, 100 megawatt is going to be bought, i.e. the electricity is going to be bought by government. So you are providing supply when there is already demand. Take note that the Philippines needs energy to conduct anything that you need, whether you're watching this YouTube show at home or just simply having light at your home. So RASLAG has been a pioneer in the grid scale solar energy development. They started 2015 and 2016. So that's about 6-7 years ago. And you could see that these solar plants were RASLAG 1 was the second solar plant awarded the FIT rating, the feed-in tariff of 9.68 as base, and then the FIT 2 is 8.69. All right. Another thing, these FIT payments are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That means that 2016 to 2036. Now, it's subject to yearly rate escalation depending on domestic inflation, fluctuation in the dollar peso exchange rate. The RASLAG 1 and RASLAG 2 have designed lives of 25 years, suggesting that the revenues of the plants almost will equate to the guarantee of the government buying those electricity for almost their entire productive lives. Now, the strong financials with clear potential for growth and high dividend capacity, although we do not expect these companies to provide dividends for the next 5 years, i.e. 2022 to 2027, I don't expect that, given that they will be constructing and expanding, as you can read further on their prospectus. What you should understand is that these revenues and cash flows are generating 46% margin. I'm going to show to you later the margins. Please keep on watching the show. Let's just look at that. The FIT rates give the company robust and secure cash flows for the next 14 years. Attractive rates combined with operational efficiency to post strong EBITDA margins, almost always higher than 80%. And the net income margin almost always higher than 40%. This is what I mean, that if you have the FIT rate guarantee, then obviously these projects will be high ROEs, high return on equity, with return on equities as high as 40% on net income margin. That's good enough. Now, they're expecting that these pipeline of solar power projects are going to be completed and started operations with power supply agreements with utilities and retailers, and energy sales to the WESM, participation in the Green Energy Auction Program of the Department of Energy. So far, since they started 2016, in 2018 to 2021, exactly 3 to 5 years after, the board has consistently declared and paid dividends for the years 2018 to 2021, which is why they're able to finance also the RASLAG 3. And nowadays, they're also looking to fund RASLAG 4 and 5 with the help of the public. So these are in the pages 119 over 423 in the prospectus in the IPO, if you want to look at it yourselves. One of their strategies is to leverage on their expertise. They're targeting 250 megawatts in 10 years. So this is why they are also not saying that they would actually provide cash dividends, even if the company can theoretically just have just 2 or 3 solar plants and get on with their lives. The beautiful thing about what they're doing is that they are acting like a growth stock, simply because the Philippines has huge demand for energy. Everyone right now is aware of the energy crisis. What with the oil dollar, the oil is 110. And we can see that the world has underinvested in all things related to energy, let alone renewable energy. So one of the big goals in climate change, the net zero carbon for 2030, is for most governments, Philippines included, of course, not just US and China, and not just Europe, but to really scale up all of these solar renewable energy projects as much as we can without closing down our coal plants, without closing down our energy needs, because our country is, of course, growing and growing. We have about 110 million Filipinos. That is expected to grow at least about 120, 130 million Filipinos with our current birth rates of, I think, 1 to 2% population growth rate. So you're looking for ways to accelerate the projects, and I do believe that growing the pie for renewable energy is a lofty goal, and it is a very profitable business to take part upon as a public investor here. So optimize operations across the platform to further improve margins. You're seeing that by creating a centralized O&M unit to manage, of course, all their solar power plants, you're beginning to see economies of scale overall. So so far they have 1, 2. If they expand 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that would be great. Let's take a look on the 2016 to 2021. These are the financials. The very first, the RASLAG one. You're seeing that energy production, this is 14 million kilowatt hours, and calculated energy production is 13.8 million. The actual annual energy production is 14.1. Performance guarantee plan was 79. They achieved it actually 81%. Following the maintenance and all of their activities during the nighttime, where of course there's no sun, you could see that they've been able to generate, preventing outages, brownouts, operation disruptions. They were able to average 40 hours of outages per year, mostly because of external grid outage. During their past 3 years, you're seeing 2019 to 2021, they've reported total earnings from their electricity sales of about 452 million pesos. And they're also saying, so basically you just multiply this by kilowatt per hour, 9 pesos, right? So you're seeing this one, 13 plus 12 plus 14. So add it all up. Around, sabihin na natin, 13 times 3, 39, 40 million times about 9 point something, diba? They said their fit rate. So 40 times 10, that's 400 million. So that's where your sales of electricity is coming from. I think that is sales revenues, wherein representing 46% of the company. Okay, sorry, kasi they only have 1 and 2, right? So RASLAG 1, RASLAG 2. So that one. So you're seeing this is one plant, and then the second plant is of course probably also generating the same type. So yon, representing total revenues during the period of 1 billion pesos. So not bad, diba? So if you have a fit rate, you can clearly forecast what your next 15 years of revenues, 20 years, because it's guaranteed by the government. Annual generated electricity, applying the fit rates, 10 pesos, that would increase over time, pro forma fit rates. Okay. So business overview, RASLAG has been founded in 2013, roughly 9 years ago. The name RASLAG is derived from the Kapampangan word. As I said, ASLAG means light, and R of course stands for renewable. That's why it's renewable light. So the company is the brainchild of engineer Peter Nepomuceno, well-respected veteran of Central Luzon commerce and the power industry, the patriarch of the Nepomuceno family of Angeles City, which business ventures and civic accomplishments helped transform Pampanga. Okay, these are people experienced with a vision of offering high-quality solar power projects, clean, renewable, cost-effective electricity. If you ask me, just from a Captain Planet mission statement, RASLAG is one of the best ESG companies so far that's listing in the Philippine market. So it makes sense to actually take a look and read the prospectus yourselves if you really wish to look at it from the business perspective and not just speculate about it for the next 3 to 6 days. Second solar project, so 10 megawatt DOE. Looking at it, it's good. From the things I'm seeing on the prospectus, guys. These are the projects, as I said, 10, 13, 18, 35, 60. This is where you're clearly going to be investing upon. 2023, 2024, that's when you will see RASLAG 4 operational. So actually 2024 second quarter. That it takes them about 8 months to fully complete their construction. And then, so ito, matagal pa yan, 2024 to 2025. What you'll see in the next year are really mostly 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3's electricity that is already generating 1 billion as so far in 1 and 2, no? Okay, so RASLAG is fully owned today, led by the Nepomuceno family, building enduring businesses. So they are like a corporation themselves in Pampanga. You're seeing that they own Angeles Ice Plant, 1922. In 1923, that is Angeles Light and Power, Angeles Electric Corporation. They also own Holy Angel Academy, Holy Angel University, Villa Teresa Subdivision in 1965, Teresa Waterworks, Angeles Power, Durastres Corporation. So Rockwell Center in Nepo, Angeles Nepo Malls. They're like a mini Taipan in Pampanga, if you think about it. And I can see that this management is really capable of building that capability to invest really strongly on the power sector. You could see that they started with the solar business in 2013. They have complied with everyone, Certificate of Compliance with Republic Act number 9136, EPIRA laws. So it's, from the looks of it, medyo okay. So who are their competition? Of course, everyone's going to be looking at their competition. So far, you are aware of two companies in the solar energy listed in the Philippines. That is your SPNEC and your ASEN. So SPNEC has been leading competitors with 91 megawatts installed capacity of two solar plants in Tarlac. In 2020, SPNEC power plant already generated 156 gigawatts in electricity. SPNEC is further planning to expand its energy portfolio in the region through Solar Philippines, which will deploy a 500 megawatt solar farm in Peñaranda, Nueva Ecija. So basically, SPNEC has bigger plans. So you can think about it na if SPNEC is 500 megawatts, etong this RASLAG is 250 megawatts. And if you're looking at the operational, as you can see here, ito yung operational 23. So they want to 10x their megawatt production capacity, i.e. 1 billion peso sales to be 10 billion over time. So far naman, ang maganda lang dyan is they are already producing naman. They've got the fit rate. So we can calculate, even we compare later with SPNEC's market cap to see how to value solar projects like these. Now, let's take a look as well on other facilities that are already competing with them in the market. To be honest, if you ask me, it's not a problem that you've got a lot of solar plants, because the Philippines obviously needs a lot of energy, and the only way that we can get energy apart from coal, oil, is also renewable, right? So the more renewable energy that is there, the more competition, even better. If this leads, if this IPOs would lead bigger projects for bigger ambition for the big taipans in the country to also follow suit, that's not a problem. This one, which is AC, Ayala Corp, has been investing a lot as well. You're seeing that Gigasol 3, a subsidiary of ASEN, has a 63 megawatt solar facility in Zambales. AC Energy began construction of a solar farm in Zambales of 283 megawatts, as well as a 72 megawatt solar farm in Arayat, Mexico, Pampanga, latter which is a 50-50 joint venture with Citicorp Solar Energy Corp. Yan yung C-REIT, which is a real estate investment trust that is also getting a lot of investors to invest in that REIT, primarily offering them that dividend yield. So yung guarantee nga nung fit rate. Now Petro Solar and India, so yan yung mga competitors na nandito na, nakalist na sa Philippines. You're seeing that C-REIT is listed, SPNEC is listed, ASEN is also listed. Petro Solar Corporation, an indirect subsidiary of Petro Energy Resources, has a capacity of 50 megawatts for its Tarlac Solar Power Project in Tarlac. It also has 20 megawatt Tarlac Solar Power Project 2 installed in the same province, awaiting for issuance of ERC's Certificate of Compliance before it officially launches their operation. So they have a lot of competition. You could see that you can install, but the dependable. So for SPNEC, for instance, in Tarlac, installed capacity is 20, but dependable is 16, because hindi ka naman magiging fully. So that's why may 80% capacity utilization, because may outages, may mga times na syempre there's no sun, and so on. So these are your mga competition. Okay, you can also see one of the risks that that I've seen in their prospectus is that they have no guarantee that they will pay dividends. So they're saying that they can declare 30 to 50% of their core net income subject to applicable laws, but they aren't so sure if they will. Something for people to take note of, kasi with C-REIT, diba, they said yung Citicorp REIT, it's solar play then a project, they will pay dividends. Now, if you're looking for a dividend play, this isn't one of them, because this one is trying to grow nga from 20 megawatt currently to as much as 250 megawatts. So they are likely gonna expand instead of paying dividends. So, or they could do both. Actually, pwedeng 50% payout dividend and 50% of whatever their cash flow up from their operations come from to deploy it to expansion. So it depends on what they will finally do. Okay, so a few things about the offering. This is a small IPO. That's why I believe that a lot of people who are interested with solars could actually put I think the PSE Easy program is 100,000 pesos per person. So take a look at this. The gross proceeds, 350 million shares times 2 peso at the offer price of 2 pesos, 700 million peso. If they can actually generate more than that, they also have an over allotment option of 52 million plus 100 million. That is coming from the primary shareholder naman. So this is gonna be where the proceeds are going to. RASLAG 4 is 380 million. RASLAG 5 is 250 million. So basically, expected schedule first half 2023, they will be funding out that. And July 22 to 24, they're already gonna be doing pre-development work for RASLAG 5. June to December this year, mostly general corporate purposes. So 17 million for that. These are where the funds are coming from, mostly construction nga, di ba? They've already secured lands in Barangays Acli, Padipuan, Mexico, Pampanga for their planned RASLAG 5 solar power plant. They've already acquired 22 lots from May 18 until March 2020. These are 44 hectares, so 320 million. 44 hectares is 44, 1 hectare is 1,000 square meters. So 44,000 square meters, just for the sake, no? So, bale, 80 peso, 80,000 peso per hectare. So, 80 peso per square. Tama ba? Tama ba ang math natin? 320 million. 320 divided by 40 is 8. So, basically, 8 million per hectare. 8 million, sorry, 80,000. 8 million divided by 1,000, no? Yeah, 8,000 pala, sorry. 8,000 per square meter ang pagbili ng lupa sa Pampanga para i-convert ang ating farm into a solar land. If you ask me, Central Luzon, yun nga, the only thing is yung land na yan dati, pang rice. Ngayon, naging solar. I don't know if there is a possibility that you can still have rice and still have solar farms on top of it. We'll see. But that would be a beautiful thing so that the land is double usage. May rice ka na in Central Luzon. Kasi the Philippines needs to address two types of crisis, food crisis and energy crisis. So, yun. We'll see. All right. Says here that the company is planning to build 60 megawatt. The total project cost of RASLAG 5 is estimated to be 2.1 billion pesos. The company intends to begin RASLAG 5 in 2025 with completion and commercial commissioning expected to take place in 2026. They want to build that RASLAG 5. Two things can happen. Either they really will not pay dividends for those pipeline solar projects. Lahat ng cash flows papunta ron. So, ito yung plan, no? 60 megawatts to take place in 2026. All right, they're doing some development stages about that. Ito yung mga total project cost. So, RASLAG 3, 850 million, finance na yan by BPI. Ito, 70% debt financing, 30% equity financing, finance complete for RASLAG 3. Yung RASLAG 4, RASLAG 5, ito yun, 1.5 billion, 2.1 billion, to be sourced from internally generated funds and are financing from banks, 39%, 27%. So, ito yung mga pina-finance ng public ngayon through the IPO. You're seeing here, partially magiging financing from banks din. Okay, RASLAG 3, ito, actual construction began September 2021. As of April 1, reached 86% final completion. They're already in the final stages of those certifications. And then the plant is ready now for commercial operation. Hopefully May 2022. So, baka sakto sa IPO, di ba? RASLAG 4, the advanced stages already, land acquisition, permits, land development works. They're saying that it can start second quarter of 2023, expected to follow an 8-month table, achieving commercial operation by March 2024. So, yan yung RASLAG 4. 2026 pa yung RASLAG 5. Okay, so no regulatory approvals yet for RASLAG 5, targeted to start second quarter 2025, completed in March 2026. So far, none of the proceeds, i.e. yung 700 million pesos, none of that will be paying debt obligations with the China Bank, BPI, and so forth. Yan yung mga so far ito, sole issue underwriter and book runner. Ito yung this is China Bank Capital. China Bank Capital is also, of course, affiliated with the C family, the BDO family. So yun, look at this, proceeds. All right, kapag nagkaroon ng over-allotment, if there is huge demand, J10 Equities can also sell another 52 million shares. That's 105 million pesos more proceeds. Yan yung papasok sa expansion for RASLAG 3 and 4 if ever. Yan, ito yung total debt as of December 31, 2021. Capitalization, that is that capital stock 1.15 billion, magiging 1.5 billion, additional paid-in capital, retained earnings, total equity, total cap. So 350 million shares will be issued to the public, 1 peso par value. Additional paid-in capital, less direct expenses. So 650 minus 350 plus 3 million, that is this 300 million. Ito yung additional paid-in capital. Retained earnings, which were directly expensed, including cost of printing, marketing, So ito lang yun, retained earnings. Okay, so this is what you have to understand if you are looking to trade or invest in RASLAG IPO. The largest shareholder is the family, the Nepomuceno. This is the J10 Equities Inc. J10 Equities pre-offer owns 75%. Angeles Power, ito rin, this is the family rin. So technically 100% ownership pre-offering. That is that 1.15 billion pesos that you see. Post the offer, mangyayari dyan because they will issue that capital, additional paid-in capital. You will see that yung public magkakaroon ng 350 million or if magkaroon ng over-allotment, it will be 402 million, suggesting either a 73-27 split or 76-23. That's how it will be capitalized so that it will become a 1.5 billion shares out in the market. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be the post offer or kasama yung over allotment option, but my sense is that because this is a likely hot IPO, this is likely to happen. Magkakaroon ng over allotment subscription dyan, if you ask me. So ito yung magiging final allotment dyan. 1.097 billion to the family, and then 402 million for the public. So 73-26, halos 3/4, 1/4. This is the offer. You could see that China Bank is the sole issuer, sole manager, sole underwriter, sole bookwriter. Isa lang. So if usually when you are the sole issue manager, everything that isn't sold to the public, China Bank. So if you're looking for shares, I guess call China Bank and ask them if they have offers to give you those shares if you wish. Now, take note as well, the IPO is ASLAG. It starts on June 6, 2022. And then after 6 months, 180 days, the company can now start selling. This J10 you are seeing here, this 73%, if they want to unload above their price or below their price, 2 pesos or higher, or 2 pesos or below, they need to sell after 6 months. So 180 days after the listing meets the track record requirements, or 365 days after the listing, now they can sell. So 6 months and 12 months, that's the only time that the J10 equities or Angeles Power can start selling. Ito yun. Ito yung 70%. Naka 180 days lock-up period. So in other words, nakikita nyo sa market, it's just gonna be 400 million shares. Only the public will have that float. So 400 times 2, 800 million pesos. Quick math lang dito is 800 million pesos, large or small, for solar projects. I think it's small. So the market will eat this up just to guess what would actually happen on June 6. In summary, let's take a look at this. Sales of electricity. Ito yung nangyari 2019, 2020, 2021. So you can see that ito yung sinasabi nilang 40% gross profit. What is 40% of 300? 120. So ito yun, 116. Roughly 40 yung net profit, and then your gross profit is roughly about 80. So 80 of 300 is ito, yung actually itong 200 over 300 is quite high, diba? 70%. Yun. Yan yung mga financials that you can see in their prospectus. I think this came from, ano ba to? For the years ended. So kung 20 megawatts, so depende kung magkano yung electricity that they generated for that year. Summary of statement of their financial position. You could see that their assets are those solar panels. Ito yung mga property panels, plants, equipments. Total non-current asset as of 2021 last year, it's around 2 billion pesos. Cash is about 150 million. Trade and other receivables, 63 million. A few things to note. here, dito yung magiging liability. You're seeing that the total liabilities is 1.2 billion. And then with the market cap today of 1.5 billion, 1.15 billion, eto ka, capital stock ka. Ito yung 1 billion. So magiging 1.2 plus 1.1 plus these retained earnings. So total equity. So liabilities and equities 2.65B. Lahat ng mga interest expenses here are yung mga BPI loans na so may utang siya guys, yun yung for RASLAG 3. RASLAG 3. Not sure if yung RASLAG 1 and 2 nagkaroon ba ng utang yon, but possibly. But what they're saying is that all the proceeds from this IPO isn't to pay for RASLAG 1, 2, 3 debt. Okay, so it's more for RASLAG 4 and 5, which is I think a good thing to note. Cash flow from operational activities, you're seeing these. Okay, so cash flow from operations about 150 million, but since they are acquiring land, you're seeing this 400 million bought land, diba? They bought for the RASLAG 5 and 4. Net cash used in investing 400 million. So they are spending every sales that they're getting from operations towards investments on 4, 3, 4, 5. Net cash flow from financing. So that comes from yung mga bank loans. You're seeing lahat yan devoted to expansion of installed capacity. Ito yung mga annual generation. So that's something for you to take a look at. Total annual generation. So far, what you can expect for 2022 is the same, no? 32 million. Yung 2022 na RASLAG 3, although it will start operational by May 2022, I think it will only reflect 2023 for their one full year revenue. So next year pa yan mag-grow ng massively. Itong 2022 would be flat, no? So for 2021. Yan. Okay, so this is the J10 equities. As you can see, this is the family, no? The Angeles. Ayan, yan yung Nepomuceno family. The Angeles Power. So ito yung maging RASLAG Corp, RASLAG Public. Ito ka. Ito yung public. Ito yung ownership nila. A few milestones if you want to see, no? They started with just 8 people. Can you believe it? And then their vision turned from just 10 megawatts to moving more. So yan yon. They own these vast plots of land. Nag-solar play sila since about 2013, founded 2013. Yan. RASLAG 3 is now a 12-hectare property. Construction will be the single largest and most land-efficient solar project to date, and it is still ongoing. Lots of accomplishment in their span of 2013 to 2022. So I would say that we have a buy rating. I have a buy rating for this. Okay, that is my 30-minute review for the RASLAG IPO. I hope that you learned something, and of course, I'm sorry, I forgot to look at the Philippine market. Sige, let's just get a quick read on what's happening in the Philippine market. Let's look lang. Okay, teka. Reload. Okay, I said na kailangan natin i-compare nga pala with SPNEC, guys. I forgot to say that. Sige, compare natin. So, you can see that SPNEC here is trading in the Philippines. This is a competition. You can see that SPNEC obviously had to fund, di ba nag-double fund to? May IPO na, tapos nag-double secondary offering pa at about 1.68. But it tells you that the market has been very positive. Positive acceptance yung market on all these solar projects. You could see SPNEC went from 80 cents to 2 peso. And you're seeing the ASEN, although nagda-drop yan ngayon, it was a huge move na rin kasi starting from when they made a transformation, di ba? 2 peso yan, transferred to as high as 12, 6x. And then ngayon, nasa 3x move, no? 2 to 6, 2 to 7. My argument is that there will be a lot of buyers on these solar projects, even if the growth is still 5 years, 6 years from now, even if walang cash dividends. Let's take a look dun sa Citicorp REIT. Listed na ba yun? Citicorp. Ito, C-REIT. Okay. Sa C-REIT, ito, dividend play to. How much was the IPO price of C-REIT? Tingnan ko lang, guys. Ha? This one naman, if you really like the predictable cash deals, dito ka sa Citicorp REIT. It was 2.55. So, nasa IPO price siya ngayon. So, same as the IPO price. Okay, so ito yung dividend place, no? So, any drops ng 240, binay up siya. Ito yung magiging REIT style. Kaya nga siya REIT Real Estate Investment Trust. This is where you will just generate the dividend play. Now, the market, however, who wants the high risk but high reward play would really go for this company, yung kay RASLAG. ASLAG yung title ng ticker symbol niya, no? Si ASLAG. Let's take a look on a few things, no? Let's take a look at the stats, guys. Analyze natin lang, quick lang. Let's go to the all shares. Magkano ang market cap ni SPNEC today? Tingin lang tayo. Of course, mas malaki siyang company. So, dapat mas malaki talaga yung IPO market cap niya. PQRS, saan yung SP? Ito, SPNEC. Okay, so SPNEC, go to the shares. Ito po siya. SPNEC here is about 14 billion peso market cap. So you can see that SPNEC is being traded 14 times bigger than this IPO that we are talking about. This ASLAG IPO is about 400 million shares times 2, that is 800 million pesos. Obviously, 800 million pesos is simply 20% of the company, 25%. So 800 times 4, 3.2 billion pesos. Total market cap. Okay, so sorry, 3.2 versus 15 billion is about 20% of the current SPNEC. Now, how many power generated na ba si SPNEC? To be honest, I don't know. So let me take a look at that. Exit natin to. SPNEC total kilowatt hours produced. Total megawatt. Ang plano niya is 500 megawatts. But so far, they have 100 ba? Ready's land for 500 megawatt. Total megawatt. Production. Kailangan ko malaman yung produced na. Okay, they said here that they have been preparing for 500 megawatts. So the market is paying something like, so ilan na ba yung mga ano niya? Basahin ko lang. So they have 1,000 hectares. So kung 1 hectare equals 1 kilowatt, so 1,000 kilowatts to. 1,000 kilowatts equals how many megawatts? Sorry, mina-make sure ko lang na tama na 1. 1. So okay, so ilang megawatts ba tong meron siya? 1 hectare equals 1 kilowatt. So 1,000 hectares equals 1,000 megawatts. Teka. Hindi kaya yun. Mali yung math. Teka. Wait lang. 2.7 billion is for 50 megawatts for a plan of 500 megawatts. Yung kanina, nabasa natin, 100 megawatts will need 1.5 and 2.1, 3.6 billion pesos for just 100 megawatts. So under ano to, hindi talaga kakayanin yung 2.7 billion. Masyadong maliit. It's 2.7 billion is just for 50. Magre-raise money talaga ng magre-raise ng money si SPNEC. Hindi niya kakayanin 500 megawatts without raising money. So, etong si SPNEC, mga 10 years yan, di yan magbabayad ng cash divs. The way that dami nilang kailangan i-grow. Okay, so the way I see it, maliit talaga si ASLAG versus yung kay SPNEC. And in terms of pricing, medyo logical na mas mura siya. Compare mo lang with the current listed company. Let's see. Yes, I have a buy rating. Good. I'll read the reports, the questions. Good afternoon. With Governor Jokno speaking today of giving a probable 25 basis points hike by June, do you see the PSEI dropping below 6.4? Has the market priced it in? To be honest, I believe that the Philippine market is resilient enough even if there is very high inflation. So the 25 basis points hike or even mag 50 basis points hike yung interest rates natin in the Philippines is really just to combat the flight capital. Kasi if ever, 50 basis points hike is priced in sa dollar ngayon for June and July ng Fed. So kailangan mag-combat si Philippine peso or else lahat ng tao maglilipatan sa dollar. So I don't think that that the rate hike of the Philippines is gonna predictably make the market fall down. What will make the market fall down has, I think, magkakaroon pa nga ng problem if the Philippines didn't hike interest rates, if you ask me. Kasi kailangan mo pa rin na control the stability of money supply in the Philippines para hindi na lahat pumunta sa dolyar. There's a question, is crypto popular in the Philippines? It is popular, but you could see that in terms of net worth, I saw data, most of the households only have less than 0.3% of their total net worth in crypto. So that means, example, if you are, let's say, ang net worth mo is 1 million pesos, 1% is, yun nga, 10,000 pesos. 0.3% is 3,000 pesos. The level of net worth asset na nilagay ng mga asset dyan, it's too small to matter. So and of course, this is not representative of every Filipino out there. Some Filipinos might have gone apeshit on their crypto holdings and depende na yon sa asset allocation nila personally. But on average, even if crypto imploded to zero, it wouldn't affect the Philippine economy. Maybe a few individuals will not be happy about that, but I don't think that is enough to topple the Philippines as a risk. Walang ganon. What is the difference of this ASLAG to SPNEC? We compared a while ago the production facilities. ASLAG is, of course, in Central Luzon, and apparently Central Luzon has better yung radiance, kasi solar, di ba? So kailangan malakas ka sa araw, mas maganda yung utilization, i.e. mas mataas yung nakuha niyang sun, solar power generated in Central Luzon rather than other parts of the country. So Pampanga versus Nueva Ecija, parang ganon. But of course, it's good. It's good to have competition. Pampanga, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, these are current competition. Pati sa Zambales, there's also a solar farm. The more I see solar energies being invested upon by Filipinos, I am giving a buy rating on them. No matter if mahirap yung what are the risks? Let's talk about the risks. Number one, we know that oil crisis tayo. So we want energy wherever it may be. Dirty fuel, fossil fuel, wala tayong choice. That's why if you look at the Philippine market today, even if the index is 6665, what are strong? Let's talk about what's strong in the Philippine market. Sobrang liit ng float ni ASLAG also. Correct. ASLAG is like, we're talking about 350 million shares na kahit na mag-over allotment ka pa ng additional 52 million shares, that is just 402.5 million shares. Guys, that is too small. 800 million pesos, papakyawin yan. Hindi ko lang masasabi kung ano mangyari on the IPO day because of course, maraming market sentiment when it comes to IPOs. It could be because we are in a recession, we are in inflation. But think about it, guys. Ano ang solusyon sa inflation? Kaya nga tayo nagkakaroon ng inflation is because we lack energy supply. May energy shortage crisis. So, ang solusyon dyan is mag-invest tayo na mag-invest sa energy. So, if you think about it, the game plan of maybe a Filipino trader and investor out there is to invest in energy. So, what are the energy plays in the Philippines? Avoid is power. They're also exploring more renewable energies, and Manny Rubio is also a fan of nuclear. We're also a fan of nuclear. We think that, yes, there is a lot of issues about the safety precaution, and we're not saying na hindi ka dapat mag-look at the safety. Obviously, we don't like the Chernobyl, the Fukushima, the 3 Mile Island disasters, but we need energy, and so kailangan dyan ng mabusising exploration, and it's one of the reasons why US and China are really adamant in loading up so many uranium in the world. We're also bullish on uranium because we think na the world is hungry for energy. Think about it. Apparently, there's I saw in US production of millions of barrels per day. Can you imagine? From 1970 to 2020, 50 years, the barrels of production from 10 million to just 12 million. So paano ka hindi magkakaroon ng energy crisis? Pasabugin mo lang yung Russia and Ukraine ngayon. Patay na yung buong mundo. Magkaroon pa ng away tong China, US, and Taiwan. Lahat na ng mundo, ewan na. $200 oil tayo niyan. Maraming magugutom. So if you ask me, whether it's a Captain Planet reason, mag-invest tayo sa solar. Kasi kawawa yung Pilipinas pag hindi. And I think this is a profitable solution anyway. We talked about the financials a while ago. It is not a profitable endeavor if the government isn't gonna put that fit tariff. So the beautiful thing that everyone has to remind themselves upon, whoever wins, and we already know the winner, importante the current admin will support renewable energy. And they will have to also support coal, oil, gas, lahat ng energy policy projects in order to solve inflation. Because the only problem the Philippines has today can be rooted from the lack of self-sufficiency in energy. Lagi tayo nag-i-import ng oil. Wala tayo nun eh. So apparently, wala tayo pero meron tayo, di ba? Kasi nandyan sa mga lupain natin. We have, I don't know if this is correct. Isn't it true that we have PXP as, so marami tayong oil, di ba? Wala lang tayo sigurong capacity to all those oil. But I think that we need to invest in solutions. And this is a solution. So that's just how I approach. What is the safe place to park our money? Energy, in my view, although you have to also think about this, everyone has to eat. So I've been also parking in on some pure gold here at 32.5 simply because, guys, konting common sense lang. The price of pure gold is currently 32.50. That's the same price 10 years ago for pure gold, wherein pure gold before, the sales in 2012 is just 50 billion pesos. And then the sales ngayon is times 3, 150, 160 billion pesos. Now, let's take into consideration, magtitipid ka, may recession, nawalan ng trabaho si Inday, si Indoy, nawalan siya ng trabaho or lumiit ang sales ng business. Even so, kakain ka or else magugutom ka. Pag hindi ka kumain, mamamatay ka rin, 'di ba? So, if you think about it, magkano ang pure gold price ngayon? It's currently trading at 90 billion pesos, market cap at 32.50 with 8 billion pesos of income. Now let's assume that income 8 billion goes down to 7 billion income. Even so, you're just paying 10 to 15 times PE ratio. With growth that is still expected for the next 5, 10, 20 years, a supermarket will live beyond me, beyond you, beyond all of us. So, because everyone has to eat. I invest in simple things. Abraham Maslow index to. Paano ka yayaman kung hindi ka kakain? As a country, kumain muna tayo. Food production. So, food production, food retail, hindi mo kailangan isipin yung fast foods kagad. Fast food, matatamaan si Jollibee. Patay yan, inflation, higher cost of production, higher lahat. Wheat prices, sugar cost, all of the inflation, patay siya doon. Ordinary spending will also fall down. So patay na naman. There's a lot of risks in restaurants, discretionary items. But is pure gold a discretionary item? Can you simply say that you will not go to the groceries next week or next month? Baka mamatay ka pag hindi ka kumain. Diba? I mean, minsan logic na rin. So, logically, I think that the Philippine consumer defensives, number one, it's not expensive. It would be a high-quality asset to park my money upon, even if it's not paying huge dividends. Now, of course, the Filipinos can only survive with internet. That's one of the reasons why we've been investing on PLDT and Globe when it was giving super high cash dividends, and it's an essential product. What are the essentials for a Filipino today? Internet, food. So internet equals PLDT Globe. Energy, kailangan mo ng electricity sa bahay. So kailangan, may Meralco ka, kailangan mo rin mag-invest sa mga Semirara, which is coal. Kailangan mo rin mag-invest sa Aboitiz Power, and in some sense, even LNG gases like first gen. And then, if you're really, really green, you are Captain Planet style, mag-SP Neck and Asen ka for solar or AC, Ayala Corp, which is investing in these projects. Kasi you don't need naman yung pure play. Pwede ka naman, okay, what is the company corporation? Pwedeng AEV and Aboitiz, di ba? Whatever you want to think about, parehas lang yon. How about gold? Okay, the answer about gold is that I think that gold is an inflationary hedge. So I think it is safe to park there. Gold has gone up 1800 to 1860, but is it an essential? There's a lot of questions on the essential uh, metals is too essential. It's more of na-train na kasi tayo na pag may inflation, hedge yourself with gold. So, na-tested siya. Battle-tested yan. Nung 1970s and 1980s, runaway inflation, gold, commodities, precious metals held their ground. Now, people are saying, some people in the millennials or crowd, sabi na, Bitcoin's gonna be an inflationary hedge. We don't know that, guys. Kasi 2008, 2009, yun lang yung 2008 GFC, 2009 na-create si Bitcoin. So, ngayon pa lang matetest kung talagang Bitcoin is an inflationary hedge. But the problem right now is that people are treating Bitcoin not as a macro asset. They're treating Bitcoin just like a NASDAQ leverage fund. So if it's just gonna trade as an index, it's not gonna be decoupling. But so far, commodities nagde-decouple. So the answer is yes, I would park my money in nickel. I would park my money in mga silver, in gold. That is correct. I was thinking the recent price action of pure gold is pricing in the forthcoming CPI projection. It does look super cheap. Personally, waiting for that panic wick to buy. Values lang ako. So 32 can go 30, can go to 28, 27, 25. But my argument is there's margin of safety. It's that it. Ganun lang ka-simple mag-isip. I'm not saying na eto na yung bottom. I wouldn't know that. But because we don't know how big of an impact inflation will stomp all the consumer spending. Kasi, okay, look at this. Kung dati may 20,000 pesos ka, ngayon, yung 20,000 mo, bibili ka pa rin 20,000 pesos sa groceries. Pero, baka konti na yung products. Or sasabihin mo, magtipid tayo, magpapayat muna tayo kasi ang taba na rin natin stop eating a lot. O di maging 16,000 pesos yung groceries mo. I think I'm estimating 10 to 20% slowdown on sales. And I could be wrong. Baka mamaya 30% yung impact ng slowdown ng sales. I'm not sure. But so far, for 2021 data, flat si Pure Gold sales. Nasa 165 billion pesos of sales. Now, that could fall 150, that could fall maybe 140 billion. And that is hardship. That is really about the hardship of the normal Filipinos. Inflation is gonna hit who? The masa. It's not gonna hit the super rich people. If they're spending 50,000 on their groceries, they would still spend 50,000. They probably aren't even looking at how much their grocery spending a month is, no? But it's really the hardest hit people. And we know the Filipinos, they need jobs. What this administration will have to do is create jobs, continue good projects, invest in these solar energies, and I think there will be abundance of spending. Kasi if you have jobs, there will be consumer spending. I hope that that is the optimistic assumption, that we will continue to provide jobs for the Filipino people, especially since that is something that Filipinos would want. Diba? Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. It's been an hour. Thank you so much for watching. And that's my take for the ASLAG IPO. Bye-bye.